In this video, I'm going to show you how to install Cloud Extender on a VMware ESXi 5.0 or above. Cloud Extender is shipped in the OVF image format, so to install on a VMware, select Deploy OVF Template, point to the OVF image that you have downloaded from Carmelo systems, and choose the default. The default, and give your VM a name. By default, Cloud Extender is shipped configured to run as 1 CPU and 1 GB of memory. You can always increase that later when if you run into performance issues. And in addition to be supported to run on VMware Hypervisor, Cloud Extender is also supported on Hyper-V. It runs Microsoft Windows Enterprise 8.1. 8.0 is not supported. We only support 8.1. Okay, the deployment is completed. Before you power on the virtual machine, you need to make one change. Because Cloud Extender runs as a bridge, behaves as a bridge on a subnet where it is deployed, you need to configure its network adapters into promiscuous mode. To do that, you come to the configuration, select the properties, and select the VM network that this virtual machine sits on, and edit. Go to security, and that's where you turn on the promiscuous mode. Accept. That's the only change you need to make during the installation on the ESXi. If you're installing on a VMware workstation or VMware player, you do not need to change anything. So now we can go ahead boot up this virtual machine. I'll go to console. Cloud Extender is configured or is set up to accept one private IP address, static IP address. So the very first time when you boot up, you have to use the vSphere console to configure its IP address, and also once IP address is configured, network is set up, it will download Cloud Extender software from Carmelo systems, the latest release software. You need to complete downloading the software in order to use it. So now go ahead, log in with login admin. Password is password. You can always change that. Now this is the initial screen. It says type help to get instructions. It gives you step-by-step instructions on how to configure IP address and download Cloudx software. I want to show you that anytime you can also type question mark that shows you all the available commands. We have a few troubleshooting commands like ping and test internet connectivity, trace route, because Cloud Extender needs internet connectivity in order to do anything. So again, anytime you can also type help So step 1 is to set up interface. You can always use tab to finish. Set up interface address. When you're not sure about the syntax of any command, type question mark, and this is the first parameter you ask is IP address and network mask and default gateway and DNS server. Make sure the IP address is not used by any other host on the subnet. Hit return. So now the address is configured. You can do a show interface to see the address. Okay, so now let's type help again. So we finished the step 1. Now let's go to step 2, is to download Cloudx software. This will go to Carmelo website to download the latest software. During this process, it will first test to see if this virtual machine has the proper internet connectivity. It will also test port 443 and a few I think it would test port 443, port 22, and port 80, and UDP port 11. I don't think it tests UDP port at this point. Cloud Extender requires a few ports, TCP and UDP ports, open for it to operate. These are all outgoing ports. They are port 22, port 80, TCP port 22, TCP port 80, and TCP port 443 for SSL, and UDP port 1194 and UDP port 500. These two UDP ports are for the IPsec configuration. IPsec traffic, for the NAT traversal IPsec traffic. If the download completes when it's successful, okay, the download is finished. Now when you see the text everything is cool, type refresh to load in commands. So now you loaded in the Carmelo's systems COI commands. You type question mark, and then we have enable configuration. So officially you can start using Carmelo Cloud Extender software. Now I want to show you so this officially has completed, but I want to show you one more thing. Once you do show interface address, now you can also use Cloud Extender console. So let's go to console to make sure it comes up. So type the IP address directly. There you go, this Cloudx console. You log in with username admin, password. Again, you can always change that later. There you go. So that's it for the installation of Cloud Extender on VMware ESXi 5.0 and above.